I remember telling people that I wanted to be a hockey player. That's what I wanted to do for my life. They'd all be like, no, like, you're crazy.
It's funny how as children we sort of learn these stories about ourselves and then that becomes our story.
I love being competitive. Like, I was so competitive. My teacher said to me, he was like, do you ever stop talking? So I just didn't speak for 3 days.
It's just more than the game, right? Or it's more than the results. Like, it's the memories, it's the connection, it's the belonging, it's the community piece. And that's why it's so important that we keep more girls and women in sport.
Literally, I feel like literally all the wars could be solved. Like put Trump, he has to do like a boxing match with someone, whoever wins, boom, there's politics sorted.
On the field, there's one set of rules. It doesn't matter about language, doesn't matter about income, doesn't matter about anything. It's just pure fairness. Welcome to 4TG. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 4TG. Today's episode is a very special one because for the first time ever, we have broken Australian borders and have gone international. Joining us all the way from Northern Ireland, where the grass is certainly greener, the accents are thicker, we welcome Irish hockey goalkeeping superstar, penalty shootout specialist, and Unbox podcast host, Ayeisha McFerran. Ayeisha,
Hello.
Welcome to the 4TG podcast.
Hello. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be the first, international break the borders. I'm so here for that.
Absolutely. We're uniting the nations.
Yeah, cross communities, I say. We're all about building those bridges.
100%. Now, for the benefit of my listeners and your listeners, we probably will have to add captions to this episode.
Absolutely, because I've been home now for at least 2 weeks and no one has a clue what I'm saying half the time. And even now I'm speaking really slowly, so it's only going to go quicker from here. Like,
yeah, and I've got an Aussie Australian accent, country accent, so I think between both of us, it's going to be a tough one to listen. But anyway, hopefully we get some value out of it.
Yeah, you know what? Like, as long as we make a few people laugh, like, that's all we're here for.
That's right. At the very least, this is entertainment. So let's kick off. Now, as I said, I did my research and you are a bit of a penalty shootout specialist. But you know what? I'll believe it when I see it. I'm going to put you through my own penalty shootout, the 4TG penalty shootout, if you will. And I'm going to hit 3 metaphorical hockey balls straight at you and see how quick you can react.
Bam. Let's go. I already love this. I'm so in.
You thought the World Cup was bad? Here we go. All right.
Yes.
Number 1. What is one thing about you that would totally surprise your teammates?
Oof. I'd say I'm actually quite insecure and overthink everything. People think I'm really confident. Yeah, people think I'm really confident because I'm like, could honestly chat to a brick wall and get a response.
Yeah.
But then I'll like go back and analyze everything and just, I'm actually quite like an insecure person.
Really? Well, fake it till you make it because I would not have thought.
Yeah, honestly, I'm living off that fake it till you make it caper. So
it's worked pretty well so far.
As I said, chat and shite. Someone will listen at some point and it might work.
It might. Well, it's a very good skill to have. We'll come back to that though, I think, in the future. That might be really good content. All right, number 2. What is your secret good luck charm or ritual before a big game?
I actually wouldn't say I have that many anymore. I used to be one of those like really superstitious, like whenever I was getting kitted up, it would have to be like my left kicker first, then my right, and then like build myself up, and it had to be my special water bottle and no one was allowed to be in my circle. But then obviously like that doesn't happen all the time. And then you're late onto pitches, like people are hitting balls left, right and centre and you're getting hit while you're facing the other way and all this hoo-ha. So I had to get over that. I just need to make sure I have a good amount of food in me before the game, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
So I guess we could say that. Plenty of food and snacks. People know me for my snacks.
As long as you're not hangry, you're on for a good game.
Honestly, like then I'm grand. Like I'll deal with whatever comes. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, whenever it just doesn't go as planned and you think, oh, I've had the best warm-up or whatever. And then you actually have a terrible game or like vice versa. And you're just like, right, okay, you got to grow out of those eventually. Once you're past,
I was going to say, like, when you're young, those things work, but then I feel as though you grow up and realize it's almost just being a little bit selfish and childish that you need everything to be perfect to have a good game.
No, honestly. And there'd be like girls, like, so you have a pitch to warm up on, and like I am like, I want my whole D. I'm like, no field players allowed in my D. And then so I'd be like screaming at people to get out of my D and my warm up. And then now I look back and I'm like, Jesus, I was such a little brat. No,
Get over
honestly,
yourself.
like I know. I was like, who are you? You're like this 18-year-old like screaming at this freaking 30-year-old, be like, get out of my day. So yeah, anywho, just give me
Have
food.
made more friends since, I'm sure.
Oh, drastically improved the friendships since. Drastically. People
Quality of
don't think
life
I'm
has
as scary.
improved. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, it seems like some sort of scientific research that's went into this, but yeah.
We'll dig deeper on that.
Yeah. We'll put that into the next one.
Absolutely. Part 2, come back.
Yeah,
All
here
right.
we go.
And the final one is, if you could instantly unlearn one limiting belief you've carried as an athlete or a woman, what would it be?
Oh, that is good. That is a good
Thank
question.
you. Yeah, I thought so.
Might steal that for unboxed.
Please.
Instantly unlearn one limiting belief. I think that I was never good enough and always had to prove
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
For those that maybe don't know, like hockey, well, in Ireland in particular, is quite like an elite privileged sport, and that's not me at all. Like I grew up in the sticks, like single parent households, hoo-ha, and I always never believed in myself, never thought that I was good enough. I didn't fit in this environment because I didn't come from the perfect family, the perfect income. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have that. So I always, probably until quite recently, it was a big one where I always felt that I had to almost overcompensate and be like extra good to feel like I belong, to have felt like I belong. But yeah, if only I'd learned that a little bit younger, that everyone's a little bit different, everyone has their own story, then might helped a lot. But we got there eventually, so we did.
Yeah. Do you still feel like that?
No, not as much anymore. I took time out of my national team just to figure out for myself. I was going through a lot personally, and I think I always knew in myself that like I'm good enough to be here, but yeah, when you're always have that kind of like power or the bad person on your shoulder telling you that you're not good enough, you don't belong here. You've always had people question your decisions, even like whenever you're growing up in school. Like I remember telling people that I wanted to be a hockey player. That's what I wanted to do for my life. They'd all be like, no, like you're crazy. Like you can't even think of that. So you hold on to little moments like that. And you're almost then hardwired to think like that. So it takes years to unlearn that. And I say now I know my strengths. I know what I need to work on. And I believe I'm here for a reason. So yeah, it has taken time, but there's of course moments where life happens where you're just like up and down. Do you know what I mean? You're just you do then fall back into that trap. But no, I feel like now I've worked enough on myself that I can say I belong where I am. I've fought to get to where I am, and hopefully where I'm gonna go.
You bloody deserve to be there. It's funny how as children we sort of learn these stories about ourselves, and then that becomes our story, and it's like our neural pathways, just that is how it is. But it's sort of having the self-awareness around that and then unlearning all those things. But it does show how important people in our lives, like parents and coaches and their words, truly can shape us and shape our whole future and how we see ourselves.
Oh, completely. Like I was actually having this conversation with my physio, because I literally see him like 3 hours every day, and great friendship. But so I was doing like just like trying to trim my quad and do some stuff with it, and it's literally really basic, just like a skip. So like you're really slow, just walking, trying to get technique, put load through whatever. And he's like, "That's beautiful." I was like, "Excuse me, thank you." But it was so bizarre in a way. And then he was telling me how when he coaches his kid, like his daughter plays Gaelic football, when he coaches his daughter's team, if one of them say made a really good tackle or just got stuck into it, he'd be like, "That's beautiful." Because I'd say probably when we were younger or even now, like people just associate beauty with looks, not like a feeling of doing something amazing. And yeah, that was just even like so recently was such an eye opener, because I'm like, it's so true when you think about it. Like those around you and how you're taught and what people say to you really are a factor in like essentially how you think, do, see things. And so it's until you have that awareness of one of yourself, but also of those around you, of what's been said and done, it's not until then that you can change it. So yeah, it was really, I actually loved that listening to him, because I'm like, that's just such a good way, especially women, girls and women growing up to change how they view certain words. I thought it was really cool.
That is awesome. It's like, yeah, bringing the emotion into it, how you feel about doing something as opposed to how it looks, like the outcome of it. It's just how it feels.
Yeah. It's that, like, I would always say whenever I was growing up, there was a girl on the national team, Emma Smith, phenomenal. And I was actually like, how she played was just like a work of art. When it just so smooth and just looked so slick. And that's where I'm just like, I always try and remember moments like that instead of like, okay, beauty is a perception. Like what some people think is beautiful is completely different. Like your man who owns a Hollister says he only hires like beautiful people. I'm like, okay, good chats. Like, here you said the wet sponge, like, go away. So that's the thing. It's just about getting your own belief in yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because everything is just perception to everyone. So it's,
Absolutely.
if you can stand up and believe in yourself with confidence, then you'll be all right.
Oh, I love that. Let's go right back to the start. I want to know how hockey came into your life and what role sport played growing up.
If you couldn't have guessed already, I have a bit of energy. And there's just like the slight bit of ADHD in there, you know? But yeah, so I was the kid who was bouncing off the walls. My mum could not wait to get me out of the house to burn off that energy before I came back. But it was just, growing up, I did everything. I remember my granddad used to sing in these shows and there was these girls doing Irish dancing. So obviously I had to, go in and try that for years. So I did that for like 10 years. Played football. Like I was always just in and around the boys in the estate. Like you're playing football, you're running, like honestly everything. You name it, I've probably done it. Just because I wanted to try it. I wanted to do it. I love sport. I love being competitive. Like I was so competitive. Like I always say, if there was a competition to like carry an egg on a spoon, which there probably is an official one somewhere, like I feel like I need to win that. I was also like in primary school, and apparently I talk a lot, and my teacher said to me, he was like, "Do you ever stop talking?" So I just didn't speak for 3 days.
Showed him.
No, like literally like wrote everything down, and after a day and a half he was so annoyed because he was like, just give me a dancer or whatever, and I'd be like, no, and literally just like sat and really slowly wrote it down as well, so we'd have to like share that. So I think there's a bit of stubbornness in there too. Like I always wanted to prove people wrong. I think again that kind of comes back to who I am, where I come from. Like I came from a single parent household. I have 3 siblings, but I was always the really competitive one. And so sport has just always been involved. Like my whole way growing up. And I think it was also like a sense of community for me. Because my mum passed away whenever I was younger from cancer, but also when she was sick before that, it was always something that I went to and I just felt normal. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't like the kid with like the crazy household or whatever. It was, no, I was just a kid that plays sport. So for me, it was always something that, I was able to just go to and kind of forget everything else that was going on.
So it was a big outlet.
Quite nice. It kept me a huge outlet. And I was so fortunate to have like really good teachers, teammates, families around me. That essentially helped me go to all these, like to training, to matches with football, with athletics, with hockey, Irish dance, with everything. Because if I didn't have them and those individuals and those families essentially take me in as kind of like part of their own, I honestly wouldn't be here, like straight up, because without going to that like fun, that club stuff where you kind of learn to play the sport and connect with people, you actually don't then progress. So yeah, it was a huge outlet for me to, one, feel normal, but also an area where people seen something in me as well, which is also weird to think about.
Yeah. Was it something that you and your mum shared early on?
I would say yes in a way. Like everyone always tells me she was crazy sporty as well. I think like sport has always went through like both sides of the family, so it was, I think, something that I got because my siblings aren't necessarily sporty. So I feel like I got all the good sport genes, which is nice. And like some of my best memories with my mum when I was younger are her taking me to like an Irish dancing festival. And so for those to try and, it's like all these kids running about, but like you're dressed in like the wig, the shoes, the dress, like the full shebang. That was me. And then like, but my mom would have to like help me get my tap shoes and everything on. Like I always have blisters on my feet, so she's there like putting plasters on everywhere. Like literally, may as well just cover my whole foot in just one big plaster. So like I have memories of this and like her going to get me snacks and everything. I think one of my best memories, I was like, I'd say probably 9, and I was at that age where everyone's like dying for the new phone. And I didn't have one, and all my friends had one. I was like, Mom, please just get me a phone. I was like, if I win the championship, can I get a phone? Just like, right, okay. And I ended up actually somehow winning it. I shouldn't have won it, but I did. So then we had to go to like Argos, and like I got the cheapest phone. It was like a brick. So like simple things like that, it's always something that those are the memories that always come back to me because I've done them with Mom. Growing up the whole way.
Wow. No, it's so special, and it just goes to show how much sport, it's just more than the game, right? Or it's more than the results. Like it's the memories, it's the connections, it's the belonging, it's the community piece. And that's why it's so important that we keep more girls and women in sport, because, you know, if you know yourself is that if you dropped out at an early age, just imagine the life opportunities you would have missed out on, the life experiences and the people that you would never have met along the way. It's so special.
Oh, it's crazy. And like I wouldn't say my town is amazing. Like it is. I'll say that. But like life here would be so different if I'd have stayed here. I've been so fortunate to have played all over the world. Literally every continent I've played in. I've studied in America. Like I've just finished a master's. Like I'm no student loans, nothing. I've had opportunities all over the world in terms of like work, doing random stuff like this, connecting with so many random people. But this stuff would not have happened if I did not play sport. And it all came from like an enjoyment of it whenever I was younger, and then seeing a pathway or just having one person. So for me, it was my teacher in high school who really like believed in me and encouraged me, and she got me on then to play in her hockey team. And yeah, without her having that in me, I literally would not be sitting here. Like I would literally not be sitting here chatting to you today. Like the end, I'd just be like a random girl in Larne. Be like, who's your one? So it's honestly, it is mad the connections you make just by continuing to participate and play. Ultimately, that's what it is. Like sport is just a huge game of play.
Absolutely. Huge game of play, and it's almost like a simulation to life, right? Like you learn to win, to lose, to share, to be graceful about things that don't go your way, and resilience. It's just, it's the best. I just want more people to stay in it and actually, you know, put more resources towards it, because there's honestly nothing like it. You even see in terms of soft diplomacy, how it brings nations together, and it's just like this universal law where on the field there's one set of rules. It doesn't matter about language, doesn't matter about income, doesn't matter anything. It's just pure fairness. Sometimes calls aren't always fair, but you get my gist.
Oh, completely agree. And 9 times out of 10, whenever you're the underdog, then it's never your way.
Never.
Yeah, I actually had a really interesting conversation. There was a girl, Hannah Scott, so she rose from GB, but also from Northern Ireland. So I don't know if many of your listeners probably don't know the history of Northern Ireland, but there was obviously quite a big split with politics between Catholics and Protestants and the Troubles and yada yada. And she actually did her thesis. So she studied in Harvard, did her thesis on it, and how essentially the only thing that was neutral and the communicator between both sides was sport. And I was just like, wow. Because ultimately, when you think about it, you can have people from everywhere, every religion, every age, every gender, whatever, come and do this one thing. And ultimately, they're just there to do that one thing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when you think about it like that. Like it removes so many boundaries and so many, it brings opportunities to people who might not necessarily think they have those opportunities. And it's just, it is so powerful that if you can actually find a sport or something that you enjoy, just what it can help you to do as an individual on so many different levels.
Yeah. God, I would love, is it a thesis that you wrote on that?
I know. Yes, I asked her for it. So if I get it, I'll send it on. So,
please do. Yeah, that would be so interesting to hear, because as you say, like politics and even going back. I think it was World War One, the Christmas truce, right, where they, on
Yeah.
Christmas Eve stopped the war and played soccer, and then literally the next day blew the whistle and war started again. Like, if you can do that with sport, it just shows you the power.
Yeah, that's what, like, even now you hear all the shit that's going on around the world and you're just like, you're almost just like, what the fuck? Sorry, I hope we can swear in this because
You go, bro.
part of me is like, you're Australian, like it's an adjective to you guys, just like it's us.
It's like punctuation for us, yeah.
No, literally, like I won't say the big C bomb, but like everyone there I feel like drops it left, right and center, Yeah.
No, we do.
I heard of, I played with a few Aussies and they'd drop it and I'd be like, what? I'm like, that's a bad word.
Yes. It is.
Anywho, it's not sidetracked at all. But yes, I do agree in that sense where it's like, literally, I feel like literally all the wars could be solved. Like put Trump, he has to do like a boxing match with someone, whoever wins, boom, there's politics sorted.
So no more tariffs. Don't do trade wars through tariffs. Put
no
Trump in the
tariffs.
boxing ring. See how he fares.
Oh my God, it'd be fantastic. I'd line up and do it. I'd volunteer for Ireland. I volunteer as tribute. Like,
all right.
Literally,
I'll put that forward.
Me.
Do you think if I tag him in this, that we might get a bit of reception?
I hope so.
All right.
I'd say we'll probably get Denmark involved at the minute. Greenland as well might be involved. UK's definitely up there with the tars. We're getting you guys.
Yeah, we'll jump on board. We jump on board on things, that's very Australian.
Yeah, exactly. Say we find a few Mexican followers out there, folks like tag Trump. I challenge him. All
right. I'm putting that forward.
Yep.
Well, we've pretty much solved world politics and world peace. So how about we get back onto you, hey? So tell us now about your journey from Antrim to Louisville. So you made your senior debut for Ireland against Spain in January 2014, the day after your 18th birthday. So you were quite young, but tell us about the experience being selected for the Irish team and the feeling you felt running out on the hockey pitch that day.
It was the most bizarre experience in the world. So like that's the summer before I kind of been pulled in for some of the training sessions with the seniors. And like Emma Gray, the goalkeeper at the time, my idol. I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. I want to be her. Like I would constantly tweet her and be like, can I have your gear? So a bit weird. Diehard fan. Anywho. So then, like I was just going to a few sessions. Next thing, my PE teacher comes up to me in school and I was like, what? Like she's just chatting to me and she's like, how's your study going? Whatever. And I was like, why she asked me about this? She never asked me about this. Then she pretty much said, it's like, okay, Darren Smith has called the principal to see if you're allowed to go. So like the Ireland head coach called my school principal to see if I could get out of school for 2 weeks to go on this trip. And essentially get my first cap for Ireland. The PE teacher was like, if you don't let this kid go, she'll make your life hell. Which she was very much correct. So that's kind of how I found out. It was so bizarre. And then obviously once that was confirmed with the school, then the head coach called me. But I was over in Spain. There was 4 of us, like under 18, so like young kids. The rest I would say were adults, but probably some of them were also still quite young. Mm-hmm. And the coach came to me one day. So I think we had 4 games and I played in the second half of one. And he came to me one morning. He's like, you're going to play. He's a New Zealand guy, so like quite dry. And then he's like, you're going to play the second half. And I was like, are you sure? I was like, you don't have to. I was like, Emma's fine. She's doing great. You can just leave her on. And he's like, no. Like, you're going to play. I was like, but I don't want to lose. So he's like, no, you're going to play. It's going to be cool. You're going to, go and enjoy it and whatever. You get to pull on the jersey. And he was trying to just keep me calm because I really was like, you really don't have to let me play. But I think there was a bit of politics involved in that. But we'll leave that for, because I'm from Northern Ireland, then I can essentially choose to play Ireland or GB. So
right.
I think they kind of swooped in there and got me early, which like I'm so grateful now that they did. I would never change my decision to go and play anywhere else. I've had the best time with Ireland, but lining up that day, because I knew I was coming on the second half. So the first half was fine. I was like, the warm-up for the game, all really chill. Yes, it was exciting. Some of the girls were like, oh, you're going to get your first cap, blah, blah, blah. And the closer it was getting to halftime, the more I was like, shit. Like, feel like shit, like goosebumps and like we're in Spain and I'm very ginger and Irish. So I was like goosebumps, shivering, everything. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. So then halftime comes, the team goes in and I'm like, I need to start warming up. I probably should move here. And then I just remember like standing there, whistle went second half, and I was just like, shit, this is real. I need to do a thing now. And there was quite an experienced defender in front of me who'd be very vocal, very experienced. And at one point, and like, again, as you can tell, I'm quite talkative. I was quite loud. I'm quite good at giving orders on the hockey pitch. And she turned around and screamed at me. I was like, Ayeisha, you need to talk. And like, this is how nervous I was. Like, I just went dead silent. So yeah, it was so bizarre to go. And then after that game, we were 2-0 up at halftime. We lost 3-2. So yeah, this is a great memory of my first cap. But yeah, to say like I'm one of the youngest keepers to ever have played for Ireland, it's not, at the time I was like, oh yeah, okay, no big deal. But now I'm like, okay, but it's pretty cool. Like, it's from someone from Larne where like hockey is not a thing. Like, we have a local team, but that's about it. To then now say that I'm cap for Ireland, I'm still in high school, I don't even know what I'm going to do after. Like, yeah, it's so bizarre to think about it. Because obviously now 12 years later, I'm like, I'm still doing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
73 caps later.
I think Wikipedia is wrong.
Damn it.
Don't worry. I know it's
how
okay.
many caps?
I honestly don't know, but I know I've got over 100.
Oh, really? God, it's very wrong then.
I know. I need to hire someone to run into my Wikipedia page.
It's doing you a massive
Kylie
disservice.
won. Yeah, I know. No one's
fucking
updated it for me. I've been irrelevant since.
Oh, well, if I can hack it, I'll try and update it. But you better give me the right information. Don't want to spread fake news.
Fake news. Just be like, she's pure class. I'll take that.
Yeah. I'll give you another 100. Make a real story out of it.
Oh, yeah, deal. I'm in. Give me the record.
So obviously they saw something in you at a young age, which, you know, you obviously proved that. And you said a lot that you were trying to prove other people wrong. Did you ever start to realize that you wanted to prove yourself right? Like, do you think deep down you were also trying to prove something to yourself at that age?
Probably not necessarily like an outright thought, if that makes sense. It was probably more like, it was definitely in there. And it was definitely, part of me, I feel, had the confidence. It's like, okay, I'm good at something, but I didn't believe that someone in my position should be good at something, if that makes sense. Kind of bit complex, few problems there, but yeah, it probably wasn't, honestly, it wasn't actually until quite recently, like the past couple of years, until I've really been like, no, like, I'm doing the graft, I deserve to be here, like, believe in yourself, because ultimately, like, if you don't, no one will. And then I ended up having like a wee minty bee, stepped away from my program because I was just like, I need to figure myself out. Because ultimately, like, I wasn't enjoying it. But then, yeah, I'd say minus all the injuries, I'd say probably the past 3 years, I've really been like, no, I really want to prove to myself that I can be the best version of myself in my gear and enjoy it. And for me, that's kind of where I'm at. It's way more important, because when you're younger, the excitement's still there. You're just like, oh my God, I'm playing for Ireland. I'm going to these tournaments. And I became the number one keeper very, very young. So the keeper at the time, Emma, she retired when I was 19. I was like, oh, right, what am I going to do now? I need to get my shit together. And it took a lot of years of getting my shit together. Because ultimately, like, especially as a young kid, you think you know it all, but you really don't. And so it was it's just a whole process of like trying to learn, understand who you are, what actually I wanted. I listened a lot to people around me, and I'd be the type of person where I would like almost like not bend to what they want or think of me, but like I'm this is where like you'd be like, what? I'd be like listening to someone chatting away, and the coach would say something, I'd be like, yeah, it's a great idea. And then I go away and I'd be like, I don't like that idea. And then I'd listen to the next person, I'd be like, that's a great idea, let's do that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, you can't, and then you completely forget about the other person, and you're just like, every idea is a great idea. So I was quite like that when I was younger, I think, because I wanted to please people and prove to them that But yeah, I almost felt like I belonged, but it was until you step back and figure out, okay, who am I as a person? What do I want? That's not until you can really then say, like, prove to yourself and be proud of the actions you do, because ultimately you know they are for you. So that's the whole story about how you get there.
Well, it's a very good story, but it is interesting, isn't it? Especially for athletes who have been doing something their whole life. And like for you, when you got in quite early, it's almost like you just are so tunnel visioned and you're just doing the next thing to get to the next place without questioning, why am I actually doing this? Do I enjoy it? You know, what is the greater purpose behind it? And then I've spoken to a lot of athletes and they've had this breaking point and they step away from their sport for a little bit because they just think, well, who am I without this sport? What do I actually want to do? And what are my own values, beliefs? What else is there besides sport? And how do I, detangle my identity from my jersey number? Do you think that if you came into the sport a little bit later, that your perspective would have changed a little bit?
That's deep.
Deep questions here at 4TG.
Oh, yeah, fuck, get the shovel out here. I'd say probably naturally yes, in a way. From the aspect of you're that little bit older, you've experienced maybe different things in life, and like even as an 18-year-old to a 19-year-old, like you learn so much in a year, and from 19 to 20-year-old. You change who you're with. So when you are younger, you're with your school friends, so naturally you're going to think how they are. When you're with the national team a bit more often and you're with those older women more often, you start to change and adapt and think and maybe see a bit more like how they do, and because you're listening to them, they share their experiences. So I think if I was to come in a bit later, I think naturally my perspective would be different on a lot of things, on how to interact and how to connect with others, how to communicate on the field. Things like that would, I feel like that side of things, it would have been quicker to learn the most appropriate way to do it. We'll say it that way. Because ultimately everything's just a learning game. So would I change coming in later? No, because I had the best time. I got to play under one of my idols and shadow her for the guts of 18 months, which, it's amazing. I learned so much from her, albeit she was quite hard on me. And I'm clearly over it. I'm over it. But, it's just, I'd never change that. I'm glad I came in whenever I did. Because ultimately now it's, whenever I see kids coming in now at that age, I can say, look, I've experienced it as well. I understand what you're going through. You will get there. You will have to learn things yourself. You do need to listen to others. But so it kind of, hopefully I'm able to pass that down.
Absolutely. And for a young athlete who's, probably at that 17, 18 mark and their future is professional sport or elite sport, knowing what you know now, what would you go back and tell them?
I would say embrace it. It's going to suck. There will be times when you absolutely question everything. But I think ultimately if you remember why you started as a kid, whether it was running, swimming, playing a field sport, whatever, you started because you enjoyed it. And you continue because you kept enjoying it and you met new people. If you can find the compromise and balance in that, where it's okay, it might suck at times, but ultimately I'm doing this because I love it, then you're always going to make then the right decision for you. And as soon as that kind of outweighs each other, of where it's maybe like, I'm really not enjoying this anymore, it's taken so much energy, then you kind of know your answer, or you kind of know then that you need to change something, or how you handle or how you think or how you do things to find that enjoyment again.
100%. And I've experienced that myself with footy. Like, I was doing it just to get to the next level, and it's almost like a game with myself that it doesn't matter if I was enjoying it or not. I just needed to get that next level of success. And it wasn't until I had a bit of a mentee B as well and, did my injury and stuff that I stepped back and I was like, I loved it because of the feeling I used to get when I ran out with the girls and just had the best time. There was no expectations. It was just have a good time out there, kick the footy around and just, see ball, get ball. And if you bring that mentality back into it, it's amazing how better you perform because the expectation isn't there. The perceived pressure isn't there. You're just playing out of pure freedom and joy. And I think sometimes, especially if you've been young and you've gone through the whole system, you don't have time to reflect on little things like that, but take that on board. We play sport because we love it. We don't have to play it. It's an absolute privilege to play. So if you can just remember why you go out there and do it, it's just a different perspective altogether.
Yeah, completely agree. And do you ever feel that when you're younger, you're always kind of, I don't want to say forced, but you're always kind of told and you hear, okay, what's next? How do you need to improve? I feel like there's also that change now in language that is used towards, especially that younger group. It's like that 13 to 18-year-olds. Like, you can't keep saying you need to get better, you have to work harder. Ultimately, like, they're doing their best.
Yeah.
And you have to allow them to see that, and you have to allow them to also learn how to reflect on things, because that is a skill in itself, being able to actually look back and be like, I did pretty good there.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Now, you said that sport has taken you all over the world. Keen to dig into that a little bit more. Tell us about Louisville. How did that come about? And yeah, what was it like? Was it like a movie?
How did it? And it was okay. So I was sitting in school, and I was sitting in ICT, so like computer class, like obviously on the internet, doing everything but doing my work. And I was like, how can I keep playing hockey after school and get a degree? And then obviously like found out scholarships and stuff. So initially I agreed to go to Michigan. Went over on a visit, was amazing. Like, completely fell in love. Like, it was just like, Michigan is like what you see in the movies, like the big house, everything. Then I got pulled into the national team, and I was just like, oh, I don't know about this. The head coach was there, kind of panicked. And I was like, no, screw America, hate it, never going to go, blah, blah, blah. Then the head, very stubborn apparently. Then the head coach, the assistant coach at Louisville knew that I was still interested and was still looking. He had coached in Ireland, so had reached out, spoken to a few people. And essentially, yeah, they offered me a spot. I was like, okay, if I don't try this, then I'm going to regret it. Like, I can always come home. Do you know what I mean? Like, I might not always have the opportunity to go. So I was like, okay, screw it. Let's just go to Kentucky. Didn't have a clue about it. All I knew about Kentucky was fried chicken. And that was about it. So, like, I'm on a flight out there. Couldn't tell you where it was on the map or anything. All I knew was that beside my pitch, there was a McDonald's. And that's from, like, people who've played there before. So, fine. Went first, like, with hockey, you're straight into season. So you go over start of August, 2 weeks of preseason. It's hell. It is absolute hell. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm not a runner. I'm a power athlete through and through. One hit wonders, like, bam, gimme it. Oh, they did not understand out there. I was made to run. So that was fine. Got 3 season. Off season, so your spring is tough. Because you don't actually play that much hockey. I was traveling a lot, like back and forth to Ireland or to tournaments with the national team. So I would have come late into the semester, but then I also would have, like, I think my freshman year, I missed like 8 weeks out of a 14-week semester. So how I passed, I have no idea. Anywho, I did. And it came to the end of it, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not really enjoying it. It was kind of, I was isolating myself, but I also found that I didn't essentially buy into the way of doing things over there, which when it's that crazy and hectic, you kind of have to. So the Kentucky Derby is amazing. If anyone ever listening, honestly, anyone listening who has a chance to go to it, oh, dude, it's fantastic. Essentially a week of partying. So like all the student athletes, we came together, like across all sports. So it was like, wow, over 400 or 500 athletes, just like throwing all these parties every single day.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
And oh no, well, that's for off the pot. Anywho, so then, like, I was still deciding, I don't know if I'm going to stay or what, or come back, like stay or go back to Ireland, because I also had a few offers to play club in Belgium. And then ultimately, like, two of the older girls, two of the seniors at the time, like, just convinced me to stay. They were like, stay for Derby week and then you'll be fine. 4 years later, Derby week did it.
They were right.
But it was, yeah. But it was also, yeah, I had a really frank conversation with my S&C coach at the time. She played soccer at Louisville, like, but she was from Louisville, very, like she loved the city. but she was very direct, very frank. And at the time I needed that, to be honest. Like I went in and asked her to give me a workout for the day, and she's like, why? Why should I give you a workout if you're leaving? Like, why should I put time into you if you're not invested in staying here? And then she's seen that I was kind of like panicking just with everything that was going on. So essentially I sat with her and broke down my 3 options. And it was one of the best things that anyone has ever done for me, because it was someone who actually spoke really direct to me. And like, we literally sat in her office and wrote on a whiteboard, it's like, okay, pros of staying at Louisville, pros of, or cons, like pros of going back to Ireland, pros of moving to Belgium, whatever. And literally went through every single option. And so what was meant to be like me literally just asking her for a workout, like shitting myself going and asking her. We sat there for like 2.5 hours, and she outlined like essentially everything, and just give me clarity and like, hockey will always be there. I can do that for as long as I want, as long as I have a piece of paper to fall back on.
Yeah.
Which essentially, like, I was getting a free education. I was living in another country. I've now, like, some of those girls are some of my best friends from all over the world, so I know I can literally probably go anywhere and be like, hey, I'm here, like, what are you up to? So it's definitely one of the best decisions I've ever done. Would I do it different if I went back? Probably. Because I think I was so focused on the hockey aspect that I wish I'd invested more in myself and in people there. So then you can actually build more connections and actually just have a bit of fun with it. I think I took it too serious as trying to be an athlete, because that's what they sell to you. They're like, okay, you're here as a hockey player. You have to get your education as well. If you don't get your education, you can't play hockey. If you don't play hockey, you can't get your education. So it almost made you feel outside of that you had nothing. Do you know what I mean? So it's,
yeah.
But it's still, like, it honestly, I really do think it was an absolute turning point in me as a person and as an athlete, just with how much you have to grow up, and how much you have to figure your shit out. You have no one else to ask when you're literally on the other side of the world. Your time zone's away. But yeah, it's class. I would always say, no matter what sport it is, if you have the chance to go to America, even if it's for 3 months to study and train and play, do it. Phenomenal place.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
What are some of the sacrifices that you've had to make that you probably, athletes, like, you don't think a lot about, right? Like, obviously you leave your family behind. There's pros and cons to it all, but what are some of the other sacrifices that you've made over your career?
I've probably missed 6 or 7 of my best friends getting married. Like, those are huge. I've missed funerals of my grandparents, things like that. That's things that you're on the other side of the world. You can't just hop on a flight and go, or like, I'm training for a World Cup or to try and make an Olympics. I'm like trying to balance things like this. But then you also have like stupid stuff where it's, people might not think it's that much, but it depends on the type of person. But for me, like a lot of my home friends, we're all still, like the girls we went to school with, we're all really, really good friends still. And so like I'd be away in another tournament or somewhere else playing or training, and they'd be catching up even just for a coffee. And you almost feel so like, oh, like you actually feel sad that you're missing that. Which sounds so silly, because obviously with technology nowadays you can pick up a phone and text and whatever and things like that, but it's just not the same as, when you're just sitting with your friends and you're just honestly like, you're vibrate, like there's no noise, but you're vibrating because you're just having, like, you're laughing so much. So things like that, even like some of my friends now have given birth and I still haven't met their child. So there's a lot of things like that where it's just, it's tough, because that's where, if I was, I don't want to say a normal person, if I was a normal person, I would have that. Like, I'd be sitting at home, I'd be, say, probably working my 9 to 5 or whatever it is. I'd call around to my friends, but then ultimately it's finding that balance of, okay, I'm doing this amazing thing for my job. Like, I get hit with balls for a living, literally. But then it's trying to put it in comparison. And I think I'm at that stage now in my career where, not that I don't take it serious, I'm a very serious person most of the time, as you could probably guess. But it puts perspective on a lot of things. And especially like, after my mum passed away, I know she would have wanted me to do this. She would have always wanted like to push me into sport and just go as far as I can. And when you have so many like complex family dynamics, that this is also a family for me, that it's important to just find the balance. And I think that's what I have, but it took me a long time to figure that out. So yeah, you do sacrifice a lot. I'm not gonna lie. People think it's all like the nights out and stuff. Yes, okay. You do miss a lot of nights out, but I think as athletes, we can definitely make up for that. Yeah.
Probably a very obvious question, but I think important to hear for the younger athletes. Has it all been worth it?
Yeah. 100%.
Wouldn't change it?
There's a lot of things I think I would change how I behaved to make my life easier. So that I maybe wasn't as, I'll say, stubborn. That didn't help. But so like there's things like that would change. But in terms of like the journey of being an athlete, would I change it? Hell no. No way. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And like I said, it has opened so many doors for me in the sport, out of the sport and beyond, that I know it's only gonna stand for me in the long term. That I've done this weird thing, literally.
Yeah, the very few can. It's an absolute privilege.
Oh, 100%. And that's what it's find that balance, okay, of yes, it is a privilege, and I think it's important that we as athletes see that we are in a very privileged position, but I think it's also important to remember that we are also people as well. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes as athletes, like I know I would have done, like I still do. You have obviously your big idols that you look up to and everything, but ultimately they're also people. They also make mistakes. They also have families. They also sacrifice a lot. They have choices. They go through things that no one else will hear about, like everyone else. They're just in a fortunate or unfortunate position that they're very much in the public eye doing so. So that's, it's just, again, it's people first. You're a person first before you're an athlete. And that's what I always try and tell people to remember is going along the way is no matter who you are, just don't be a dick, pretty much.
Yep. I love it. Yep. We're not machines as well. Like athletes just think that, don't they? And coaches think that of athletes. And, you know, you can't expect us to be at 100% every day because we do have emotions. We do have external lives and things get, you know, involved. And performance really is about what mindset you're in too. And if you're not in a good mindset, you can't perform well. So I think that's a really big thing for athletes to know themselves that they are not machines, but also for coaches and other people who expect way too much often of them.
I could not agree more. Like literally, I had a very frank conversation with my coach the other week. I was just like, I have so much going on. Like I'm injured. I'm trying to organize my rehab logistics, like physio, everything. I'm like, you're paid to be here. This is your job. You get paid to do this. I get a contribution towards what I do, but I don't get paid. I'm like, this doesn't even cover my rent. So you have to understand that mistakes are going to happen. I'm going to see things different. I'm going to believe in different things. I might show up and be in a fucking pissy mood. I will give you the best pissy mood I can. But do you know what I mean? It's like, it's such a roller coaster that coaches, I'll say certain coaches don't see that. And they don't see the importance of having a good culture, having good people around you, having an environment where it's okay to be different, where it's okay to express yourself, where it's okay to have off days. Because ultimately, like, we are people. We're all trying our best. Like, no one's purposely showing up to do anything wrong or do anything bad. Like, life happens. And that's where I think some coaches could do with I don't want to say a good shake to wake up, but you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And especially in like Olympic sports, right, where pay just isn't really a thing at all, which is so flawed on so many realms. But like you think about it, if you were getting a full-time salary, so many of your external pressures would be gone and you could spend more time on recovery and you wouldn't have to worry about, you know, trying to seek income and sponsorships elsewhere. That in itself is a huge disadvantage, not just financially, but also emotionally and mentally and spiritually.
literally. And I know I'm in a very privileged position, even within sport in Ireland and within hockey in Ireland, to have a few sponsors behind me who are supporting me do this. But I also have a job at the same time. I'm also trying to do my own thing. But that's the thing. It's like Olympic sports is, unless you're like the 1% in the world, you're not irrelevant, but like you need to have backups. You need to have other options. You need to be supporting yourself in a way where it's like you could be cut, you could be injured, your program could fold, you could get no funding. Boom, you're done. Then what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? And that's where, Olympic sports, funding minority sports, you have to have that. And that's what many people don't see. They just see, oh, like hockey's doing well at the minute, or hockey's not doing well, or the men qualified and the women, or blah, blah, blah. Like, that's where all those stories come from. They don't actually see that it's like, okay, well, for me to even get to the qualifiers, I had to take 50 days off work, do this and this, pay my own travel. And what? Like, how can we expect our athletes to perform like people when they have to do that before they even consider putting on a uniform?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're in this scarcity mindset because you constantly think, I need to perform to be seen to the sponsors, to be marketable, to get money. So it's like there's always a catch-22. If you don't perform well, they might go my sponsorship, there goes my financial stability, there goes my safety net. Like, it's a lot of pressure.
Oh, that's an understatement. And like, I've even had coaches in the past, like, it's literally like emotional abuse and blackmail, where they were like, if you guys don't perform well, like, my kids won't have a house over their head. Like, it's fucked.
Yeah.
No, like, honestly, and I probably shouldn't say that, but like, I don't care at this point because I'm so fucking fed up of shit coaches like that and get them getting away with it. But it's like, how can you say that when you're getting paid a full salary and I'm literally paying to be here? So yeah, there's just things like that. That's where it actually infuriates me, because I'm like, you have no idea. And this is where coaches don't understand people. They might understand a game or tactics or whatever, but they don't understand people.
Yeah. All right. You've got one sentence to tell a coach. What would that sentence be?
Oh, dear Lord.
You reckon you might need a paragraph at least?
Yeah, and I need some like commas, some semicolon things or whatever to list out here. One sentence to tell a coach. Jesus. What would I say? I would say develop a person to create a culture that you can be proud to stand in front and behind of.
Yeah, culture is just so important. And it's a bit of a buzzword these days, right? Everyone talks about it and it ruins it. But like, it's the feeling that you get when you walk into a room and you see the values being lived out. As they say, everyone says that they've got values, 3 core values. But if you have to write them down and keep coming back to them, you should be able to walk in and actually feel it and see it. That is good culture. It's not good culture to say, we value culture, we value our values. But yeah.
Oh, like,
you got to act on it.
Oh, honestly, like, between culture and communication, those words actually just do not exist. Like, I hate it. It's the most pointless thing whenever someone just chirps out because they don't know what to say. And that just ultimately shows that, okay, we haven't developed, or we haven't built a culture to whatever team this is, or etc. Because I'm like, yes, like, for example, the All Blacks, everyone always say, oh yeah, the All Blacks had the best culture, blah, 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 they won this and this. But actually, like, if you dig into a little deeper, they fucking hated each other. They were teammates. And yes, that can be part of it because that is what worked for them, but that's not going to work for everyone. That's not going to work for, like, every individual team is so different. And like, my team, like, I love her to bits. Our sports psych, she's actually just left us recently, which I'm like really devastated about. I'm still not over it. One of the best sports psychs I've ever had from that sense, because she worked so hard in the space of 3 years to essentially flip our culture, where we developed the confidence to have harsh conversations with each other, to feel that we can show up and be the person we are that day. So like, there'd be so many days where I'd show up and I'd just be crying on the pitch, and I'm not a crier. But it just shows how safe I felt with my teammates and my staff to do that. And it comes back to like the simple things of like accountability, where that's a big thing in having a good culture. If you hold yourself to account, you can hold your teammates, your staff. It's a whole collective thing that you develop together. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can come in and preach. It's like, okay, well, we're going to show up on time. We're going to be direct with each other. It's like, no, until you actually start doing that and get the moments of trial and error with that, that's what it takes to develop a good culture. It's not just throwing out these words left, right, and center. Like, it actually does my head in. I can't hack it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. And that, yeah, as you say, the psychological safety is huge.
Huge. And that's what people don't understand is like, if you don't have that, then you're going to show up completely different. You're going to probably be harsher on yourself. You're lying to yourself about how you feel, which then ultimately you put more pressure.
Everything too, don't you? And you don't believe what people say, like the coaches. If they say you're playing well, you're like, oh well, I don't think so. I don't trust it. You know, I must be doing something wrong.
Literally. And then you're just like, oh my God, I need to try harder. I need to do more running. I need to lose more weight. I need to do this, this, and this. And then ultimately, like, it's actually just backfiring in everything you do. And then you're in direct competition with your teammates and whoever you're there with. But ultimately, like, you're there together. Everyone's going through this journey together, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever. But as teammates, if you don't do that together and support each other, then you're just going to start second guessing them as well and second guessing what they say. And then it just creates that really toxic environment that just, it's never nice to be a part of anything like that. So yeah, anyone listening out there being part of that, challenge that, develop better people.
You don't have to stay. Yeah.
No, get out of that. Jump in the ship and off you go.
Life's too short, isn't it, to be part of something you don't want to be or don't feel like you belong or feel safe in.
Honestly, like, I just turned 30 and I'm not having it because in my head, I'm like, I'm still 27 and I'm taking my COVID years back. I'm doing it. So I'm 27 for the next 3 years, but it is, it's so short. And like, it is that cliche thing. It's like, oh, you have to enjoy the moment when you're in it, blah, blah, blah. But it's so true because I'm like, Tokyo, like the Tokyo Olympics was like 2 years ago. No, it wasn't. It was what, almost 5 at this point?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, what?
No, like, so it's just, it is bizarre how quick things change. But I think on the flip side of that is you can also see it's when things maybe aren't going well or you're in like a rut or whatever, you can see how quick things can change to get yourself out of that. So it's like a plus and a minus, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Now, you obviously have a lot going on outside of hockey. So I want to know a little bit more about Unbox, the podcast. Once again, please like, follow, listen. How did it come about?
Plug.
And plug. And what impact do you want it to have?
So it started, I'd say, just under 2 years ago. Again, we've probably established I'm quite good at chatting shite, you know. If you haven't already.
Yeah.
We're like an hour deep almost, you know. But yeah, so I tore my MCL. I was playing for a club in the Netherlands. Tore my MCL, and I was kind of already in this like, oh my gosh, who am I? What am I doing with my life? I don't know. I've had jobs. I hate my jobs. Like, I think one of my shortest jobs is like 3 weeks. But anywho, who's counting? So yeah, I was doing rehab for that down in Austria. And Red Bull have this unbelievable facility out there. Like, it's honestly every athlete's dream. You're in the Austrian mountains. You're just, you know, working away, doing what you need to do. Everything's kind of tailored for you. And I had this interview one day. They call it Story Finder, where this lady comes and just to kind of get a bit of a story on who you are as like a Red Bull athlete and that sort of thing. And so obviously, like, it's the end of the day. I'm probably 4 or 5 Red Bulls deep. I've had a long day training and several coffees. So I was just chatting shite. And they were just like, oh my gosh, you can literally talk to anyone. And I was like, yeah, well, like, if I like you, or like, if you give me some sort of response or noise, like, I might give you something back. So that was kind of it. And so between that and like figuring out that I'm not just this hockey player, I am, like, I was fed up with people being like, oh, you can't play hockey anymore. Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I have a few other things going on. Like, I'm not just this, you know? So I came with the idea. Initially, it was like to do this thing with Red Bull athletes in Paris, but that kind of didn't evolve because, you know, money and stuff. Paris is apparently expensive. So then kind of, yeah, the idea came of like all athletes have a story. Every person has a story. Every person has their own story, how they got to where they are and who they are and how that evolves for them. And ultimately, like, there's so many people out there that want to feel seen and want to feel heard and want to relate to someone. And that's where I feel that us as athletes, we're pretty weird. And most of us are quite good at chatting. So I was like, okay, ding, ding, ding. We can just chat to other athletes. But also, because every athlete has went on their own journey, there's always a part of someone who wants to relate to that journey. So it's, for me, like, I grew up in the foster care system. So I know there's so many kids in Ireland, Northern Ireland, who same environment as me, want to just play sports, want to dream and get out and do something better than the environment they're in. But for them, their dream might be going to university, getting a job, getting their own apartment, simple things like that. It's not simple. It might sound simple to some people, but to kids in foster care, like, those are huge moments where you're kind of like, how on earth did I do this? So I wanted to develop that idea of, with Unbox, that we're not just all trapped in this little box. We might have a million boxes in that box, but ultimately, like, don't get trapped in what society puts you in. So I allowed people around me in society to just be like, I'm Ayeisha, I'm a hockey player. No, I'm Ayeisha. So that's how I want it. That's how it kind of came about. And then I've been fortunate to chat to so many unbelievable athletes from all over the world. Like, it's insane. If you haven't listened, go and listen. But yeah, so from my first episode onwards, it's just been trying to unbox different athletes, share their stories, share how they can connect and how other people can connect to them.
What do you think's the key thing you've learned talking to all of these athletes?
Jesus, these are very good questions. Now I need to add a few of these to my my notes.
You go for it.
I think giving people the space to talk and to share their story. Like, for example, if you're chatting to, say, a gold medal Olympian, it's very easy to go in with that perception of, oh, okay, well, like, they've had it pretty easy. They've got a gold medal at the Olympics. They've had all this support and all this funding, but actually you don't know what's going on in the background. So it's coming in with that kind of open mind and almost being like, because that's what I want to do. I want to get to know the person as I'm chatting to them. So it's, trying to just give the space to people, for people to talk, but also come in with a kind of a blank mind of how it could go. Because so many times, you've probably found it the same, where you could be like chatting or like have a whole plan and script to go one way, and they're like, I haven't asked one question from this. But ultimately, like, those turn out the best because they're so raw. There's so much truth behind what's being said. It's not just like interview. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit more authentic, I say, whenever an athlete is chatting to another athlete, to get those stories.
And they're the stories you want to hear. I don't want to hear how great it was at the, Tokyo Olympics or whatnot. I want to hear the shit that you've been through, because then it makes you so much more relatable. And if we all came from the same place, sure, we've had maybe some different opportunities, and some people might have been a little bit luckier. But at the end of the day, like, you control your destiny. And a lot of the time it's so easy to fall behind the trap of they've just had everything so easy. They've just fallen into it. But no, they haven't. Even if they've had all the money, all the opportunities, they still have to be good, work on themselves, and they've had to fight to that top. So if you realize that they are just people too, don't put them on the pedestal. They've worked hard, they've earned it. Like, that's what's going to inspire me to try.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, it's kind of like what you see in movies as well. It's like, okay, those kids who might have everything and have all the support, like, they actually might be the ones who are probably the most insecure, who are most anxiety, because there's so many pressures around them, and they're putting so much pressure on themselves and from their family and that, who are then like, okay, I have all this, I have to do well, I have to get those A grades at school, I have to pass all my exams, I have to be amazing at this and this, I have to take all these extracurricular activities, and then, but you can just see, it's like, is that person enjoying what they're doing? Probably not.
No, that's right. Imagine being the child of, like, superhero sports star, and they're always going to live in their shadow. I couldn't think of anything worse.
No, thank you. I would change my name. I'd be like,
change my name, change your postcode.
Literally, I'd be like, I'm off to the opera. Might not be
Yep.
able to sing, but fuck, I'll give it a good go.
I'll give it a solid crack.
You know, I can be loud.
Well, I am conscious of your time and it is definitely bedtime over there for you. But thank you so much for this chat. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've taken heaps from it and I've loved learning your story. You're such an incredible person and yeah, you've had an incredible career thus far, but I just feel like you're just getting started. So watch out, sports media world, maybe in a post-hockey life. Is that on the cards, do you reckon?
Who knows? Who knows? I'm doing some of the commentating in hockey because apparently I know what I'm talking about. I would like to hope so at this point. But you never know. If anyone out there knows of anyone in the media environment, you know, give me a call, hook me up, get me a job. I'd happily chat to folk.
Absolutely. Yeah, slide in the DMs.
Yeah, literally. I'd say like the pair of us will meet somewhere in the middle and then we'll just be like, right, we're gonna do this. We'll take our own show on this.
Yeah. 100%. Well, thank you so much. And for everyone listening, please go and check out Unboxed. Have a listen to the episodes. They are of high quality, high entertainment, of course, as you expect. And yeah, be sure to follow your journey and also like and subscribe to 4TG. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And let's keep the conversation going around women's sports and the incredible women in sport. So, Ayeisha, thank you so much and look forward to part 2.
Can't wait. Thanks for having me. Part 2, let's go.
You've been listening to 4TG, where the future of women's sport is being shaped, one story at a time. If today's episode hit home, subscribe, rate 5 stars, and send it to someone who needs that push. Stay in the loop at 4TG_podcast or on 4TG.com. We'll see you next time. Same mission, same movement. This one was for the girls.